We're like this all the time, you know.
This is
I mean, we'd be like this tomorrow.
But
at the moment, I want to have a fight.
Yeah.
Much better television than the questions. I promise you.
Okay.
I tell you what, should we film me whooping Sting?
Yes,
that would be good, wouldn't
that
it?
would be great.
The Police are one of the greatest bands of the 70s and 80s. A British trio led by Sting with Stuart Copeland on drums and our next guest, Andy Summers, on guitar. They put out a slew of great albums like Synchronicity and Zenyatta Mondada and unforgettable songs like Roxanne and Every Breath You Take. But as Summers explains in his new documentary, Can't Stand Losing You, Surviving the Police, as the group grew more successful, the band grew apart. And he says when they recorded their last album, Synchronicity, they made it with each man playing his part in separate rooms and fighting over the mixes. It's fascinating that the album was still so awesome. To find out why, let's welcome Andy Summers.
It's good to be here.
Welcome.
So how is it that a band that's going through such discourse, and you're prelude to a divorce there, you can't even record in the same room, how could you come together and still make a great album? And you're not the first band to go through it, but you lived through that. So how does a band come up with great music when you guys don't like each other anymore?
Well, I don't know, you know, it's a complex question because I think, you need that confrontation and spark. That's what makes all the great bands, I think.
Really?
You know, yeah. I think it provides a sort of a chemistry that's more volatile and more sparky, and I think that connects with an audience. And hopefully you're going to get it into the music as well.
So it wasn't despite the tension, it was actually in part because of that.
It's both. It's so complicated. You know, it's like you end up with that thing. Was it one of the Beatles said? You know, the only way you'll really understand this is like to be in the band itself. There's only, in our case, there's only 3 people who know what that experience is.
Is it because it makes you all a little competitive and?
Oh yes, no, it's
more productive that way.
It's rivalry, competitiveness. It's all these things. There's a sort of a necessary friction that occurs. You kind of want that chemistry. I mean, okay, if you go the other way, so say you got 3 really mellow guys that get on really well.
Where's the emotion?
I don't know, it sounds a little like the Beatles, though. For the most part, before Yoko comes along, they kind of got along pretty well. But you lay all the blame in this at the feet of Sting, his egotism, his selfishness, when he's stealing the tape of the great song that you recorded. You keep putting it on him in the film. Is he the reason why this great band broke apart?
That's all right. You're talking about the film. Well, I think that's true, but I'm not going to sit here and demonize Sting. I don't want to do that because he is a great musician, a great singer, as I am, a great guitar player, and Stuart's a great drummer. So we need all these things. You see, we're getting into it now. You're getting me going now. But
Point.
It was the truth, and when I wrote the book. And subsequently made this film. I wasn't interested in sanitizing anything. I know, because you've got to present an honest story that shows, warts and all, because I think that's what's really compelling for people. And of course, it's a story that's full of all the, the troubles that go with it. Like probably for any band or any great success story, it doesn't matter who it is, whether it's Judy Garland, the Police, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, whoever it is, there's going to be a shadow side that, and particularly in today's world, people are really interested in. It's not all just shine.
But it wasn't a one-man problem. It was one man causing the problem.
Okay, you say that. Okay, you go with that.
Let me ask
I'll send him around later.
Let me ask you about that darker side, and not just about the Police, but we hear all these stories of people who achieve great success, great fame, and they're miserable, depressed, addicted to drugs, suicidal. Does fame change a person, or is it that people who are attracted to seek fame have they're sort of damaged in a way?
Yeah, I think it's both those things, but I think that okay, you get into being famous, and probably usually power goes along with it, and money also. These things do change you. There's no question about it. Some people don't handle it well and break early, and then they go away from it. Some people are able to handle it, but they probably lose sight of a lot of things in life. So they don't treat people right, and then maybe to sustain that kind of being on all the time, you take to using drugs or whatever. Yeah, I mean, we all know these stories. But having lived through it somewhat, I say it's all true. And, you've got to find a way to get through it. you don't want to sort of talk about, I'm suffering because I'm famous.
Right.
Nobody wants to hear that.
No, that's rubbish.
On anyone.
No, but, on the other hand, let's just say to be a great musician, play in front of a lot of people, okay, you're very privileged to be in this position, but it does take some sort of personal strength to sustain it and keep going through it. All right, what if you're Lady Gaga?
People don't realize how hard it is to be a rock star. Nobody wants to hear the complaint, but they don't realize how hard it is. And you guys put reggae music into the pop world. Congratulations on that. Great career. Thank you for being here very much. Andy Summers, watch the film. Up next, Steve gets his chair back and tells us why the whole fiscal cliff thing makes him want to jump off a cliff. We head to break with a tune saluting the lady who booked Andy. Sasha, it's for you.